Shivam Singhee, CEO, AWSHAD. Cannabis in pretty much in the US has been going on for decades, but over the last 15 years, we see a massive rise in the cannabis industry. This was due to mostly the opioid crisis that the US was facing pretty much late 90s and early 2000s, where Big Pharma was pushing strong opioid medicines to all sorts of patients suffering from depression to pain medications in cases like with morphine or heroin. And they obviously saw a lot of addiction and problems related with health and long-term side effects that forced the consumers to look into alternative medicines. And cannabis was a clear-cut winner here, mostly because it sort of served all the purposes as opioid medicine does. However, cannabis was milder and had almost no side effects. And this sort of led to the growth or the wild rage in the cannabis industry in the US. And since then, it has been growing consistently. US is the biggest market for cannabis, followed by Canada. And now it's sort of trickled down to the European countries, where cannabis is legal in almost half of the European countries. And this trend is now continuing to grow in Asia as well. We see countries like Thailand, which has become legal over the last year, and countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Japan, they're all looking into opening up into CBD, if not the entire cannabis market, at least in the medical use. Luckily for us, India is also has a rich history with cannabis, and via the route of Ayurveda, a lot of cannabis medications are available in India. Through Ayurveda, cannabis is making a comeback in the country, being reintroduced as a medicinal elixir, which is available to to our population. The laws around it are still quite murky, and people are looking to change it. We have Uttarakhand as a state, which is forerunner or the front runner, which is sort of pushing the limits for cannabis cultivation, extraction units. We have states like UP, MP, Rajasthan, Orissa, who also have progressive laws when it comes to cannabis. There are states like Himachal that have been on the cusp of changing its laws in terms of cultivation, since it's one of the best states where natural growing cannabis is available. However, I think India still requires to create federal level laws when it comes to research and development, and allow companies like ours to grow medical level cannabis and allow us to grow the flower and the buds of cannabis plants, so that we can have more efficient and high efficacy products. At this point, India still requires a little bit of more coalition and more R&D when it comes to the cannabis industry. Otherwise, we'll be left behind, as countries like US and Canada and other European countries are taking it far ahead when it comes to research and development. One of the key things to understand is that cannabis, while it's in the center of Ayurveda, because of the regulations, cannabis has not been given the right stature amongst Ayurvedic students. We see that most Ayurvedic colleges do not have cannabis or Vijaya as part of their main curriculum. They don't have the right exposure. They don't even have the right knowledge of what this medicine can do. They are not using this herb in part of their daily prescription writing. And this could be a huge challenge for the industry itself, because cannabis is being reintroduced in the country via the Ayurvedic route. And if Ayurvedic doctors are not aware of this product, they are not aware how to prescribe it, how to rightly sort of offer it to their patients, it becomes extremely hard for the cannabis industry to grow. Also, we don't get the right amount of credibility if the doctors don't understand the medicine as well as they should. While I was studying in the States for my college, I used to suffer from insomnia. and I was introduced to these CBD tinctures by a friend of mine, and they helped me get through some really tough times, especially during exams where I was not able to sleep for like days in a row. And then I came back to India, and access to CBD was almost impossible unless we were willing to smuggle it from outside, and it just seemed too much of a hassle. About 3 years ago, I think 2019, I was with my friend Richa, also my co-founder for AWSHAD. She was going through a perilous time. Her dog, Champ, was going through cancer, and she was looking desperately for CBD oil in India for her dog. And she, by the time, managed to get something from Amsterdam. It was too late and her dog passed. And this sort of sparked an idea in us, and we decided to figure out if we can get these CBD medicines in India, or we can create them in India. We spent some time studying the laws and the legality around it. We saw how it was possible to bring this to the Indian market, and that's how the idea of AWSHAD was born. We started our company in 2021, and it's been around almost 2 years since we launched our brand in September, and we've been growing consistently. Obviously, the biggest challenge for us was to create awareness and education about the product in a country where, you know, there's already a massive stigma attached to the product over the last 40 years. We are extremely focused on quality of our products. We make sure that all our products go to the American labs, and so we get a certificate of analysis done from American labs that are well versed with the cannabis products. We make sure that we share these certificate of analysis and these lab reports on our website, because we believe in complete transparency with our consumers. We also are making sure that our products are tested not only by the Indian standards but also by international standards.